Hello and welcome Crypt Dwellers to the Retro Media Crypt, bringing you the very best in retro media entertainment in video games and horror. On today's show we've got reviews of Astal on the Sega Saturn and the Strawtastic horror Night of the Scarecrow, directed by Jeff Burr. And this week's feature is dedicated to Killer Klowns from Outer Space releases from around the world. But first, here's some retro news. Stomping onto Blu-ray in May is Clive Barker's 1986 monster movie, Rawhead Rex. Coming from Arrow Video in a brand new 4K restoration, it releases May 14th. Looking forward to upgrading the first choice VHS of this one. Now available for pre-order for those tired of Nintendo 64 analog sticks breaking is a brand new redesign of the pad by Retro Fighters. It's priced at $30 and said to ship around May-June, and as soon as I get my hands on one, I will let you Crypt Creepers know how it handles. Well, that Retro Fighters pad looks like it could be a good replacement for any broken analog sticks, and seems fairly reasonably priced. Now it's time to check out today's classic video game review. What could be more visually stunning than Sarah Michelle Gellar covered in peanut butter? The answer, Astal for the Sega Saturn. Released in 1995, it follows a boy named Astal who must rescue Lida, a girl who has been kidnapped by the evil Gerardo. The game features some beautifully hand-drawn 2D graphics and looks superb, and really utilises the 2D capabilities of the Saturn. Sprites are big and animated well, and the controls are responsive. Gameplay involves collecting gems by throwing, bashing and blowing enemies, which builds up your power bar to utilise the special attacks and abilities of your bird friend who is helping on the journey. Levels are well presented and varied, but are very short, and the game can be beaten in a couple of hours. But there is something about the game that just draws you in, and has a very unique atmosphere. The art design is superb, and the monster design of the bosses is a highlight. Overall, Astal is a brief but engaging and atmospheric ride, and is certainly worth picking up for around £25 to £30 for the Japanese release. Ever since my brother and I got our granddad to rent us Killer Klowns from Outer Space as kids, it has remained one of my favourite 80s movies. So today, we look at Killer Klowns releases I've acquired from around the world. From the UK we have the Arrow Blu-ray Steelbook edition, released in 2014, and on VHS, the Big Box X Rental Entertainment in Video release, and also the small box sell-through version. From the US we have the 2000 release on VHS on the Midnight Movies line by MGM, and the DVD version released in 2001. From Australia we have the 1988 RCA X Rental release on VHS, and the Spanish CB Films release on Betamax. From Japan, on the Tohoku Shinsha home video release, which has suitably bonkers cover art and is one of my personal favourites, and the Neptune home video release from Poland, which has a nice foil effect font. Last up we have the Empire release from Germany, which has been retitled Space Invaders, and the French release by Cara Films. Killer Klowns is a cult classic for good reason. It's fun and campy, but was made with a real passion for B-movies, and features some great special effects and production, and an awesome soundtrack. One VHS that I'm trying to track down is the Thailand release, so if anyone has a copy that they want to sell, drop us a message or an email at retromediacrypt@gmail.com. Now it's time to grab the keys to the Combine Harvester for this week's straw shredding film review. Night of the Scarecrow was directed by Jeff Burr, who also directed Pumpkinhead 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3, and his experience in the genre definitely shows in this supernatural slasher horror, released on VHS by Polygram Video in 1995. Two drunken, dim-witted locals accidentally break a seal that was holding a dangerous warlock captive and possesses a scarecrow next to his tomb. This isn't the Wizard of Oz, and the Scarecrow goes on a killing spree, going after the descendants of those that had trapped him in his mystical grave. The film has a nice ambient and atmospheric rural town setting, and the acting and direction in this is fairly decent, but what makes it much more entertaining is the inventive death scenes and great special effects. And while there is a bit of CGI later in the film, all the gore shots are with practical effects. Death by combine blade and human scarecrows. And in one scene, the Scarecrow spreads his seed with a human host, but sadly this scene is slightly cut on this polygram VHS. Night of the Scarecrow truly is the definition of a 90s hidden horror gem, and while the Scarecrow is not quite up there with the likes of Freddy and Jason, I would love to see a sequel released. Pull out your corn for this one and pick up the US release Blu-ray by Olive Films. Well, that's it for this week. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Till next time, Crypt Dwellers, goodbye.
You to start the morning wake.